Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and like mentioned, we're going to tackle our next jobs on the 245. So really we should be trying to get the engine to run, but in my eyes, if the engine runs and everything's good, which you got to think positive, there's no point because I can't blooming drive it because the windscreen's trying to fall out of the car. So we need to tackle the windscreen area, put the new windscreen in, which we've got there. Massive thank you to Brookhouse Volvo and Pilkington Glass working together to get me one up the country, only 2 left in the UK. So big thank you to Brookhouse Volvo for sourcing that. And for quite a reasonable price as well. So I'll put Brookhouse Volvo's website in the link description below. Anything you need for Volvos, just go check them out. So much stuff's going on this car, so much stuff's going to go on that car. And obviously you've seen Jackman on 244 and his Amazon and stuff like that. Very, very good company, so helpful. There's not many automotive companies that are that helpful, and I will speak very highly of them. So we're going to try and get this trim off as the first point of call. So it's got a chrome trim, which this was already lifted when I got the car. And you can kind of see there's some clips in there. So I need to kind of, number one, photograph it, how it's going to go. So I'm assuming the clips are going under the window by the looks of it. See how far apart they are, measure it. But then the rubber trim I've got, I assume goes onto this. So how far we get in this video, I don't know. Obviously I want to get quite far. Main thing is I want to get the screen out, and I would like to at least then start trying to tackle the repair. Now I'm hoping this is the only bit of welding I've got to do. The rest of it I'm hoping cleans back because it is incredibly solid. It just looks 10 times worse than it actually is. You've seen how we've dealt with all this. Talking about that, people were wondering, while I go on a quick tangent, what I'm doing with the exposed areas. Now in this corner of the bonnet here I have actually lacquered it, so you can kind of see just how it looks like that. That's probably how I'm going to go. How I'm going to do it yet, I don't know. I'd like to clear coat the whole car, but right now in here I'm not sure how I'm going to get around that, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. There's a company in America called Poppy's Patina. Now everything else that's on offer really is linseed oil, and I've heard good and bad things about it. I mean, it's easy to get, it's easy to apply and all that, but it also does leave an oily residue on your car, which is incredibly hard to get off if I ever wanted to paint the car. So at the moment I want to keep it like this because literally we've got other projects to do and I quite like how it looks, how it is now. But if everyone wants to go, look, I want it really nice, really perfect, I can't really without a great deal of difficulty and more expense. So what I'd like to do is try and do something with it. Now Poppy's Patina is like basically it is a lacquer, it's not an oil, and you put it on that way. That's the only one I've found. So the only other option I've got is to roller lacquer on, which is going to go awfully, or mask the whole car and just blast it with some clear coat. So that might be what we do, but we'll have to be cunning how we do it. Or I just nib in with a brush the bits I've exposed and then polish the car again. Drop in the comments, that's a future problem. Today we're on this. So let's just get into it. Let's get this off. I'm going to go grab my phone and get some photographs and go from there. Right, so that's the screen surround off, and I didn't bend it and I didn't break it. However, I think nearly every single one of these clips has broken. As you can see, that's just fell apart in my hands there. I hope you can get these again. Worst case, what I'm going to do is put them back on the new screen and we can just dab a little bit of sticker flex onto it. It is only a trim finisher, it's not holding the screen in. But you can see, even if the window wasn't smashed, just how delaminated it's gone. Along here, I'm so far really happy. Look at that original paint. So it is a bit horrible in the middle, but we're just going to get to that now. So a lot of people have said the screen isn't bonded in. It is very, very clearly bonded in. You can see how it's stuck down. Now the rubber trim I've got, I'm going to double check and open it. I believe it's just for this. So it somehow just clips to that. I'm not entirely sure how. So we'll work that out in a second. But right now we just need to get the screen out of the way to see what we're working with. So I bought a quick tool, hopefully to make my life easier. All right, so another job I've got to do before I can get this out is I've noticed someone's tried sealing this screen all the way along. Now this trim here is screws, and these look like clips, so I've got a little trim tool. There's actually a clip missing off that, and I'm hoping I can get these out without breaking anything else. It's going to be fun. Brittle 70s plastic. That's one out. Two out. And there's a screw here which has come out, and it's like a metal joining piece. So I'll pop all these bits on there. So I think that's that off there. Yeah, everything's covered in windscreen sealant. Lovely. So just drop this off here. Oh, it's stuck to the with the sealer. Oh God! Don't break, please don't break. Oh, right, we got it out. With a bit of rust. Right, pop that down there, and then a load of screws up the top. I am shocked these are even coming out. But obviously I don't want to damage this stuff because, yeah, not ideal. Oh, bugger, I can't get to that one. How does this come off? Does it just turn? Is it like a modern car? I don't know. Does it go back? Right, I'll work that one out in a second, but I'll get these out, get that trim out of the way, and then we're not going to break it. Pretty sure it slides back. Back in a bit. So what I've purchased to get the screen out is basically a very simple kit. Basically uses metal cord, you insert that into the rubber, and then you work with these two and pull it out. I have taken a few windscreens out, modern cars, and this is kind of a modern install in my eyes when it's bonded in. Minis are just a rubber that holds the screen. This is not. It's just off Amazon. Cheapest chips, like £8. Probably a break, but it might do this job. With it. Well, it's going well so far. The tool I used can't go in there because it fouls on the body of the car here. And all I've done is put a tiny bit of pressure on it by trying to push out, and the screen's just going even more. It's so fragile all the way down here. It's like it's been chipped up quite a lot. So I'm assuming this trim's been off before, because I don't think this extra sealant around the edge is factory that's on this. You can see where it's been added, and all the trim inside the car is covered in it. So it's obviously had a bit of an issue at some point in its life. Someone's tried to reseal it. But yeah, this is fun. Yeah, let's see how we get on. Right, so obviously I'm no professional at this, but a bit in the bullet. Let's set up this, and we're starting to cut it out. We've cut it out all the way around here, but as you can see, the tension I'm putting on it is smashing the screen. The biggest problem is these clips are in my way, so I can't get my wire past. But basically what you do is you just cut all this horrible, whatever this stuff is, it's not even dry, look, it's horrible. Cut all that away, but we're hitting these constantly, and it's causing problems. Now that one there looks like it's just come all the way out, but they are hooked around the windscreen, so this is just going to get messy. So I'll bring you guys back when I finally get this out. Right, so bit of an update. I've managed to get all these clips out. I'm going to have to try and replace a lot of these. Some of them are usable, but basically a clip all the way around there. So now I should be able to get round all of this. So I've had a good look at kind of what's been going on. It's been resealed so many times, it's causing me issues. Like I say, it's still wet in places, which normal windscreen sealant is. Now, I've done a few of these for a previous job on a modern car, so the screen's probably been in the car 1 or 2 years, if that. So this has obviously been in there a lot more. It's got them clips, but now my tool should be able to pass by it all, so I should be able to cut all this out. So back on time lapse you go, guys. God, this is taking a lot longer than I thought. I kind of thought it wasn't really in, but I'm quite thankful. It means there's metal there, but yeah, I'm glad it's laminate. But I'm gonna put some goggles on and some gloves. Right, as you can imagine, that would be a lot easier with 2 people, hence why I left my metal cord quite long so I could drag it like that, but it is coming out. We're completely up and out here. We're still attached a little bit at the bottom, but it is coming out. So, oh, it's so sticky. Oh, it's horrible. It's cracking everywhere. So let's try and get as much around the bottom as we can. Obviously, if we were trying to save this window, we'd be a lot more careful, but it's already smashed, so who really cares right now at this point? Oh, it's making horrible sounds. Problem is, it's re-sticking. I'm stuck. Hey up, hey up. Who needs auto glass? And you can just smash it out. Oh my God, this is disgusting. I need another pair of hands. Oh, it's still so wet. Here we go, bye-bye. Oh my God. That was disgusting, but I think I have a scuttle. Right, I'm going to clean everything up and bring you back. Yeah, got to go to the tip. So yeah, just pays that perfect actually buying a tool for the job. Once I realised that I could get these clips out, obviously I'm not professional, I've never worked on a 240, we're all learning here together. It was perfect. Right, I don't know how I'm going to clean this wet sealant off, but I've got to. So, right, I'm going to bring you back in a sec, put you guys on charge, going to have some lunch, and we'll see where we're at. Yee boy! So, some time later, and I've started to clean back all of that horrible sealant, and as you can see, it is really, really good under here. I've still got quite a lot of sealant to remove, but in all honesty, I've got bored, and I can't be bothered doing that anymore. So, I want to get on with trying to repair that edge, and then I can crack on with the cleaning, prepping, and doing that sort of stuff. I have made a decision that I will be painting the whole scuttle or feathering it up the pillars. So I've got a sheet over the car now just to try and protect the interior a little bit. And then I'm going to basically use my little flap disc tool to get rid of all this loose stuff. We'll treat all this, epoxy prime all this, and do the best we can. Come on, before people jump in the comments, look at the rest of the car. It's scabby. It's not the best, and really what I'd like to do is get all these repairs done and clear coat the car like previously mentioned. So we're going to get on with this repair around here. So I've cleaned it back, or I've picked away all the loose stuff. So I picked away all the loose stuff, and this is kind of what we're working with. It is scabby. I'm not going to make bones about it. It should have a scuttle put in this car, but given the rest of the car and given the kind of the look and the end goal of this car, I don't see the point right now. This is so thick, this scuttle, all of this is going to clean back lovely, and a good epoxy prime, it's going to look nice, I hope. This sealant's horrible. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get my little flap disc tool out. We're going to clean all this area up, see what's shape to work with. I don't know how well it makes up on camera, but you guys with 240s will know. You've got a slope here, a flat ledge there, up there, up there. So there's a lot to make. You can see there's a round hole there. That's actually a drain hole. That should be there. There's a corresponding one on the other side. So that's one thing to note. So I'll have to cut all this out, but I will maybe make a mark there somewhere, put a bit of tape, so I can re-drill that hole, because obviously that's where your water drain is. Let's just get cleaning. I'll bring you in as much as I can. Right, so I spent some time making a patch up. So you're going to look at it and go, there's nowhere near, but there is a curvature in that panel. It curves that way and like over it, so it's like follows the line. So the swage line disappears here and it's quite prominent there. Now I've tried with some dollies to try and put this line in, hence this rough line here is where the line starts to go. There is a very, very faint tilt on the panel, which will give me what I need, but what I'm going to start doing is tacking it in at the bottom where I want it, and then using the heat and a good hammer and dolly just to create that line. Luckily it's in the corner where I can lose it here, but obviously I want it to be nice. It's going to need filler. The whole scuttle is going to need filler, like a light skimmer filler probably, because all this pitting and stuff like that once I've treated it. So I'm not too bothered. It hasn't got to be perfect, but I want to get this line back obviously, because I don't want it to look like a bit funny. So what I'm going to do is start tacking it in and go from there, and at least I know what I'm doing. Looking at these panels and trying to make it all in one go sometimes isn't good. Just a tip. So I'm making this bit the fascia bit, and I'm going to put the piece on the top after, because that's easier. It's just a bent bit of steel. In fact, I've probably got a bent piece of steel with that profile on to do this lip, because this lip's quite close to what classic minis are like. So I'll have something. If not, I very much easily can make that. So we're going to work with this for now. I'm going to start getting this tacked in. So that actually hasn't gone that badly. So like mentioned, you've got a curvature here, and then it tilts up and goes back up towards the windscreen. So by doing what I've done, so basically tacked, which is why it'll be made up of bits, it's not a continuous weld. I've managed to get that line back in there, because I've tacked it, got the heat there, knocked that down, and I've managed to actually get a really nice curvature there, and it's followed there, you know, quite nicely. Now all this is going to need dressing back, and we are going to need a skimper filler. So we are a little bit higher low in anywhere. We, you know, can try and work it back out, but actually metal wise I am blooming close, and I'm quite happy with that. It's very, very hard to pick up on camera, because obviously once I've tidied it back you want to be able to see a bit more. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is cut this top bit off, or potentially fold that top bit in, and then we'll try and make this edge. But the easiest bit would probably be to cut it off and then do that. If I had loads of metal folding tools and fab stuff, would be okay, but right now that's the biggest hole covered. That's sorted. And how I kind of got the rough shape was just using this dolly up on a vise and just using a hammer and sorted it. So nothing major. It's the only kind of metalworking tools I've got. And we've achieved that. So what I'm going to do is just dress this back now, not going mental. We've got to sort the whole scuttle. The idea is I'm going to mask the whole car off. We're going to sand the whole scuttle, etch prime the whole scuttle, and I've got the right body colour to kind of make it something like. So it'd probably be the nicest bit of the car. But obviously I don't want to put windscreen in and have this rot. Once I've trimmed this back, then I can make the bit at the back which the windscreen actually sits on top of. So obviously that's kind of the important bit, but I'm quite happy with that. It's going to need filler regardless, but there's a difference between making your shape out of filler and being 99.9% there. You know, that's the whole point of it. It's to finish a repair. It's not to create your shape. So we are going to have to create a little bit of it, but I'm really happy with how that's come out. So like I say, I don't have the tools, so it's just kind of like make up as you go along. Don't stress over it, guys, just crack on. Right, I'm going to sand that back. I won't bore you with that, and I'll bring you back in to see roughly how it looks. For the final job for me today, for you, you'll see me again in a few seconds. What I'm doing is I'm just putting some rust treatment on the surface rust areas to see if we can get them all cleaned up nicely, and then I'll go home and leave it overnight. So what I've done is just gone over it all, got all the crispy bits gone off, ground it all back to as bare metal as I can get, and it's all good and solid, which I thought it was. I didn't think it wasn't. It is quite pitted in areas, but really this car looked 10 times worse than it was. But while I've got you, have you subscribed to the channel? Because that would be a massive help. So while you're watching me do this, work this in. Anyone knows about rust treatment, it will go black once it's got chemical reaction has done, and go from there. Yeah, you make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, drop in the comments, maybe leave a nice comment, bad comment, do what you want, leave a comment. But yeah, subscribing right now would be really, really good. So this is exactly as far as I want to go with the scuttle on this car. So hopefully we can do it. So yeah, do them jobs for me. If you would like to buy some merch, some stickers and some beanie hats, it's getting cold, so go and buy them, and I'll get them shipped out to you as soon as possible. Yeah, thanks guys. So that's going to be that for today. I've rust treated everything. Anyone else would like just put a scuttle in it, but like I said, look at the car for God's sake. All around here, I'm happy it's solid. I've just got to make the inlay piece that goes in there, so that's the next job. And then we can look at getting everything in etch primer, getting it all painted, lovely, screen back in. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Right, catch you later guys, thank you very much. So it's the next day and I've finished off that repair up there, and I'm quite happy with that. As you can, the light's just catching it there, you can kind of see the curve carries on and disappears. But I think that's as good as we're going to get. A little bit of filler just to tidy it up is going to be fine. Remember, my window sits on that, and then I've got a rubber trim that covers all of that, so you're only going to see this piece, you won't actually see any of that. So this is quite heavily pitted, but it has responded to rust treatment and stuff like that. And I've put my little camera, yeah, my little like bore scope thing up inside there, and you can't actually see any rust, which is good. So it's not gone all the way through. This steel is so nice to work with compared to a Mini. It's so thick. Luckily I had some good steel lying about, so I can put the same thickness back in. But it's going to require filler, the whole scuttle is, just to get rid of the pitting and stuff, but it has come out really nice. I've saved these vents, not one of these is damaged anyway, so I'm happy with that. And on this side, you see I've just started to mask up, so I'm going to put a sheet across the car. So I'm going to start cleaning this back and then getting some primer on it. But yeah, apart from a bit of pitting, it's fine. But you can see just how good the actual original paint is. So yeah, I'm going to carry on going. So I'm going to mask this off, and then we'll get some paint on it and then start filling areas and stuff. It's going to use some, I've got some Dolphin Glaze. It's very, very, very fine filler. It just picks up on all low spots. So I'm going to use that. Right, so I'm just going to put some epoxy primer on this area. One thing to note is, obviously, I don't feel like I need to mention it anymore if you follow this channel. Underside of this panel is painted, and inside I've actually injected a wax. Now I've drilled the drain hole back on the top. I've put some wax in there as well, but you know I cavity paint. That's my thing. So we're going to get some epoxy on that now. So let's get that done. I've started to just, like I say, I've put a very, very light skim of filler on here. It's just where all the pinholes are, and you can kind of see where it's, I say pinholes, like defects where there's been surface rust, but it's coming back really nice. So I'm quite happy with this, to be honest. I'll go over it with a lighter sandpaper in a bit. I'm happy all the way up to there, and then obviously we're up to the repair on this side, which is just going to take a lot of work really. It's going to take quite a lot of shaping. All this is fine along here. Again, just little kind of indentations where there has been heavier rust. But like I said, it's all been treated now. We've got some primer and stuff on there. So now we just need to try and create this shape best we can. Remember, the rubber seal comes like around here. So it's just mainly this area where you want to focus on. The one thing we all do have to focus on, before everyone jumps in the comments and types, is this isn't a restoration. This is a get it back on the road and use it car. I like the patina of the car. I like the story it tells. One day I'd love to have it repainted, but you know, it's a big job and a big expense. Right now I really enjoy how it looks, so we just want the scuttle nicer, and then we're going to try and blend it all and make it all match to the car. But yeah, I think we've saved this, which is really, really good. So yeah, quite happy with that. All the vents come out nice. So I'm going to keep sanding. I'll bring you back in a bit. Right, so I don't know how long it's been since I picked up the camera. I've just been cracking on. Like I said, I just want to get this out of this unit now. You will see I've even started on the roof. Roof repair probably isn't the best of repairs, but basically there's some metal behind. I've managed to tack it all in, and obviously with fire watching on the inside and stuff like that, I sorted it, and there's a nice smooth skin filler across the top of it, and it does look okay, to be fair. The roof rack's going to cover most of my sins, so I've got that. This, like I say, this isn't a restoration. Really, you would have all the trims off, take all the interior out, and you do that way. But there is there's a roof rail, a roof inner skin, and a roof outer skin. Mine's only rotted on the outer skin, so it's all been treated. I repaired best I can really for what we've got here. And you will see I've started to just feather in all the little blisters and stuff that are on the roof. And then we will end up having to put some paint on it. We're at the point where we're going to put some high build primer now on the scuttle. I'm not entirely happy with my repair that side. It does need a little bit more love. But I thought we'll try and end this video now with getting some high build on, and then in the next episode, hopefully I've mastered that corner. Basically, it just needs more and more finessing. It's one of them shapes that's just going to take ages to get right. And I do have very, very basic tools here, so you have to appreciate that. But I'll try to go and tie nuts now. We'll get some high build on it, and it's time for me to go home. And we'll try and get this video edited out to you. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, because it'd be really, really helpful. And comment away, are you enjoying this build? This is the worst of the rust done now. There's just two little tiny repairs on the rear quarter panels that I can sort. They're not actually structural, they're not an MOT fail, but I will sort them out. I just wanted to get to the point where we can put the screen back in and kind of enjoy the car. While I've got you, I am thinking of clear coating the whole car to protect it. Like I mentioned, I don't want to put oils on it because one day I'd like to have it painted, but you know, it gets into all the metal and the oils can cause all sorts of reactions. So I think a clear coat's best for now. Rock this look and then go from there. Drop in the comments while I do this. Right guys, I think this is going to bring this episode to a close. I don't know how long it's going to be. I've just been cracking along for the last 3 days, just getting bits and pieces done. This side of the scuttle I'm quite happy with. It will flat back okay. We're not going for a show finish, please understand that. It's coming out of a rattle can, not in a booth. The rest of the car is obviously very, very patinaed. All I want it to do is be somewhere in the closest colour, and for it to know that under the windscreen is nice and solid. This roof repair's gone okay, I think. There is a few little nips that I probably could just get with a little bit more stopper. But again, where do you stop? The main factor is that there's no hole and stuff like that, so that's the best thing to look at. My repair over there is going to need a little bit more stopper, a little bit more tidying up, but until you get some paint on it, it's quite hard to see. So I know where I've gone wrong and I know where I can rectify. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video guys. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. It's massively helpful. There's a link in the description below in other ways that you can help the channel. Believe you me, I need it right now. And there's merch and bits and pieces available. Really want to get out on this car before the end of the year. And like I say, it does really live outside. So I'm kind of like pushing along quite a lot just to get it out. Once this is all blown in red, we can start looking at getting the engine running again. Everything's here for that now. So fingers crossed we can do that. And everything's kind of prepared, like all the studs are out. Just got to clean some faces up and we can start fitting the water pump and things like that. Fingers crossed she runs okay. But yeah, along here, all that's that swage line you don't even see because the rubber covers it. And yeah, I think we're going to be golden. So the windscreen bonds in, then the chrome or stainless trim with the rubber on it sits over the top of it all basically. So I haven't got to go mad, but it's quite hard not to be a perfectionist when you want it to look right, but also to remember that the rest of the car looks like it's dragged through a bush. Get me? It's quite hard to separate yourself. The Amazon, there'll be no two ways about it. I want it right, do you know what I mean? But this, yeah, we'll see. So yeah, please do drop in the comments. You think we should clear coat the car? Now, I can't really make a booth in here that easily. So it might be a proper DIY job again, just mask and blast. Let's get that done, that'd be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna go now, I'm gonna go edit. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope this has been interesting. It's kind of the next steps along, and I'll pick up the camera as much as I can for the next stage, which will be hitting it with some paint and getting a windscreen back in.